What's up, guys?
Hey.
So we're doing the Arcane Duels review
of Forcemaster Academy.
Yep.
Crocheted Shark Pudding.
For those who somehow don't already know that.
We're making it quicker because people know who we are.
That's
They know
right.
who we are.
You're somebody now, Shark.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Shark's in these videos.
I'm in town.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing the creatures, so...
The biggest, baddest creature in the whole set is, of course,
Bam.
the Forcemaster herself.
Yep. This is it.
This is her stat card. She is a dark elf from the land of Jessertet. And that will... I don't know. There's three
Good luck
consonants at the
pronouncing it.
beginning.
That's where she's from.
Look at you, Schneed.
You even got that right.
I think people like it when we say things poorly. But whatever.
Look at these guys. I'm better than them.
So, if you're familiar with the Arena Forcemaster, she has the same training, except she also has the Jessertet subtype that is trained.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they're trying to do in Academy is they're trying to just give her options while giving other schools options because these are such smaller sets.
It's very interesting because it's supposed to be a regional flavor.
Yeah, I dig that.
So
I dig how they flavor it, you know? Right. And, I mean, her starting mana of 3 and her channel 7, I think, is definitely on the higher end.
It gives her a chance to front load a lot of
What
things.
I've noticed a lot with her is she tends to have these creatures out, and it's like you get this burst of power, and then you're sort of reduced back if they go away.
Yep.
If the game's not over when they go away, suddenly it's like, ugh. And I think that starting 3 mana helps balance out that whole situation.
Yeah, she tends to run out of gas, and when she runs out of gas, she runs out hard.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, she has a bunch of good stuff to fall back onto, so she doesn't just lose immediately, but she definitely wants to, like, whatever plan she has.
She's strongest early in the game.
Like, does she want to get rid of the creatures? Does she want to deal a lot of damage?
Yeah.
It's definitely, like, why I think she has that starting mana.
She's definitely strongest earlier in the game. That allows her to set herself up. I mean, she can still play a later game
oh yeah,
thing,
absolutely.
but the ability to get there hinges upon a well-played early game, I think.
Exactly. And I think that 3 starting mana, how you use that to gain the advantage, I think is important.
Yeah, you got various timing issues with this one.
Yeah.
The good thing about this is that with all of her quick cast creatures, she can keep the pressure on for as long as the game lasts, pretty much.
The ability to melee and cast a creature in the same round is actually pretty
Yeah,
outstanding.
it is pretty legit.
The only other guy that can do that is obviously the Academy Beastmaster can cast a creature and do it, but he can't melee. But, I mean, we have the Tattery from Arena.
Right.
And then we have the Beastmaster from Arena that can do it once per round. And Beastmaster, I think, does it really well. And I think a lot of those tactics can still be carried over.
Yeah.
Yep, very similar.
So her special power allows her to use the dissipate tokens on all of her force creatures to empower herself or other force creatures.
Yep.
So you can.
That's so cool.
It is very flexible.
There's no range on that.
I like that.
That's the interesting thing is that you can just do it wherever.
So another thing that I really like about this flexibility of her power is that you tend to have lines of guards looking at each other in Academy.
Yeah.
And so you can wait for the right creature to attack the right thing at the right time and get the extra bit that you need in order to punch through that creature or to get extra damage on the mage or whatever it is.
Extra dice to break the line.
She's actually really good at breaking guards because she has a weapon that can do it, and she has a bunch of creatures that can do it too. So it's and they get hit back with their ages, and they're just they don't care,
nice. Especially when you add dice to it.
Yeah.
So that is the Forcemaster, and now here are her companions.
So we did do a preview, spoiler for the Eye of Jet. We don't have that much more to cover on it aside from it's still a cool card.
And you could put Hawkeye on it. I don't know if I'd want to waste the mana. I guess you could put it on a steep hill.
In Arena, there's a few combos to give it more dice, but I think that at that point you're just asking for it to get knocked out.
I'm just
one hurl rock.
I'm not sure about Arena use. I'm just not sure about it. But in Academy, I think
he's fantastic.
It's a great choice.
Yeah, you can set up a pretty intimidating firing line in Academy with these guys.
I think they work differently. Like in Academy, you'll use the firing line, you'll use the multiples, and in Arena, you might use a one of as a. But I wouldn't say he's a main line fighter, but if you dropped it as a fire support kind of guy,
that's interesting. I think you could definitely do that, and then have symbiotic orb and wait for the symbiotic orb for the eye, and then be like, this takes out your minor, and then your level 3 or above, I use my Orbon.
Right, you have a bigger buddy that overshadows this one's a higher threat, but this one's still helping soften them up.
It's needling. Yeah. It's chipping damage, you know?
You don't need to run mass Eye of Vita Jets to be good.
Yeah, you can't attack conjurations, unfortunately.
The fact that it is a quick attack, though, makes it actually usable.
More useful. Yeah, way more
useful. It can move an attack. That is nice.
Yep. I agree. And then it also helps support with the stagger. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a good support creature. I wouldn't say you want to run swarms of these because A, they're not hard to kill, and B, that they just won't add up for their mana cost. Like, I think it's a law of diminishing returns in Arena.
Yeah.
You just won't get that much out of it with more of them.
I could definitely see that.
One of them as a second or third buddy isn't bad.
That being said, Academy. I would consider
they're awesome.
I would consider for non-mind.
Yeah,
definitely would.
Oh yeah, especially
they're
at
one
level
of the few
1.
creatures in this set that you can actually use outside of the Forcemaster as well.
That's true.
Due to the force construct restriction.
Yeah, this one actually has to be killed in order to go away. Instead of dissipating.
I mean, more mind creatures is of course always good. Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
So that leads into the
what I wanted.
Next card is the Force Caracal. We also covered this one.
Yep.
However, now we also have some new light to show since we talked about redistributed power in the spoilers as well. The later spoiler brought that up. So this guy can suddenly go from 2 dice piercing 2 to 4 dice piercing 2, which is actually pretty scary.
In Academy, that's scary.
Especially for 5 mana.
For 5 mana,
you can one-shot.
The redistributed power costs you what? 2
mana.
You can one-shot some level 1 creatures with that.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, on top of that, of course, you're paying 5 mana. Symbiotic Orb costs 3 to activate. You just take 1 dissipate off him, and it definitely is better than 3.
And we'll get to them in a minute, but there are more creatures that are pretty close to you. Think they're pretty specifically built to draw dissipate tokens from them to power that engine.
Absolutely. Yeah. And of course, they have the Forcemaster ability.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this creature, like...
He's a cross between the two. He's good on his own, but he can also be one of the dissipate feats.
The level ones are kind of like that. They're just asking to be used for their dissipate, but they're also just kind of cool for that needle damage, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, the going away of the... I'm sorry, when the Forcemaster uses her ability, it's not investing more mana into the creature that's going to die. It's enhancing its attack for the round.
Yep.
And of course, there's the thing we haven't covered, and that is with Mind's Eye from Lost Wilmar, you can actually quick cast these guys out of the eye.
That's true.
So you can kind of plop them around the field wherever you want.
Surprise!
You know?
I mean, they're still range 0/0, so they have to pop out wherever the eye is.
Yeah, wherever the eye is, but that's still not terrible.
Send the eyes across the arena.
But I mean, if you're going after a conjuration or something,
right?
Piercing 2 actually isn't that
Piercing
bad.
2 would be pretty good.
So,
So we also talked about Force Golem. This guy has that stagger effect, which is great.
Yep,
he is the most expensive of the construct creatures, actually.
9 is pretty expensive, actually.
But he does get that 4 dice, and he'll get it 4 times.
I mean,
assuming you don't try to stagger,
I mean, I don't know many players that are willing to spend 5 mana on an attack spell that's going to do 2 or 3 dice to this guy and not kill him. You know, like it. He's expensive, but he's going to get that dice through. Like, you compare him to 2 attack spells, and you kind of want the Golem more.
I think one of the only times you're going to see these force constructs, not one of the only times, but one of the main ones I can think of is if they're surrounded by enemy creatures. Like, if an enemy, I wouldn't go so far as to say swarm, but if there's like 3 or 4 guys of the enemy creatures in the same zone, and you need to clear out the biggest force construct creature in there, I can see them being attacked. Outside of that, you're right. I don't see anybody actually wasting any mana on attack spelling these guys, unless it's a zone attack.
It's one of those interesting things, because like, I feel like I don't want to run it in Arena because of the cost, but at the same time, like, you look at the numbers and you're kind of like, I could definitely see doing this.
Well, Timberwolf is 9, right?
Timberwolf's also permanent.
Yeah.
Timberwolf, I understand that, but this guy has Aegis 2, and lasts for 4 attacks.
Summon 2 of them because
he could be useful.
Like, I mean, they're quick, so you can.
I think
still punch and cast.
The way I would think about this guy is if you are, you've got a Forcemaster, right? Usually has fewer creatures on the board.
Yep.
But you engage right around the time when it's you with some gear plus your opponent with a few creatures, like 3 creatures.
Okay,
Usually when you're fighting a Beastmaster, there'll be like a Falcon, a Timberwolf, and maybe a Tegu out there or something, right? If you drop this guy down and then double strike another guy or sweeping a couple of guys, then all of a sudden you're gaining tempo, and these guys will be around long enough to kill that initial
That's true.
wave of creatures.
They are corporeal, so you can battle fury them and stuff like that.
That's true.
Which is really nice.
That would be
so this guy's actually really fun. This guy's interestingly,
interestingly
strong.
Because I mean, when it attacks and damages, you can stagger something. So yeah, if you have that Tigo and you're like, I really don't want to take a rot, let me only get the damage, and you don't have to remove the dissipate until after you attack. That's also really nice. Right. So you don't have to declare, I'm removing it. If I don't do damage, I'm screwed. It's, I did damage. Do I want to get stagger?
Right.
That's a really nice option.
It's a really nice option.
You know?
So I guess we can transition into some of the, we'll call them fuel for the engines.
Yeah, these are the weenies.
Force Weenies for a Forcemaster. I mean, come on.
Well, they are quick casts, so they got to be weenies, right?
He's got 4 dissipate. He's invisible, just like the Stalker, but he's a gremlin.
There's actually no way to get rid of his invisibility.
Yeah.
Really?
He's absolutely invisible forever.
The only way you can hit him was with area effect spells.
And he's always elusive, and he's always a pest. And
I don't
he will always get his 2 dice in, no matter what you want.
I don't know if traps actually will trigger. I think they will trigger, but I don't know if they can target him.
If they target, they can't hit him.
That's interesting, isn't it?
I believe
if it reads, they're gonna get hit. Yeah,
I believe the Forcemaster, the Academy Forcemaster's ability also does not require targeting.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a range, which doesn't matter because but it also doesn't target.
It doesn't require targeting. So with these Force Gremlins, you can actually get 4 dice through.
That
everything.
These things are really nice.
That was absolutely on purpose.
Yes, they're really nice in Academy.
But I mean, the invisibility trait is actually really cool because you can just kind of get where you need him to go.
Now you will run into problems in Academy if you look at. Let's just pretend you're fighting against a warlock, right? If the warlock's wearing a burning cuirass,
he's going to
take a damage, and he can only do that twice.
If he guards,
but that's
actually can't. He actually can't guard. Because he can't be targeted.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's pissed.
Yeah, he's just for getting that extra damage out.
Yep.
Exactly.
He's just an extra damage engine or a dissipate engine if you need it.
He's the invisibility trait is just cool in a lot of ways.
Yep.
You know, because he can't be guarded or guarded against or anything like that.
So speaking of the dissipate engine, we have another one that's along the same line.
This is the dissipate engine.
The dissipate engine, that's right. Cool art. Very weak overall creature in terms of basically every stat you can come up with. But there's 5 dissipates, and it's only 3 mana.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the Aegis that's common amongst the other constructs, but I think that's because he's such a weak creature in that sense.
I'm not sure it's worth spending any attack on him, regardless of
he
spell.
He costs 3 mana
and
a quick cast, you know? He's not like a Tattery.
He's one of those, he's good when casted for a purpose, like using it as a dissipate engine and getting an extra die per turn.
Yeah.
However, I don't think it's worth the other person responding to it necessarily either.
You know, the way I would see this one being used is if you had 2 face-down redistributed powers. You spend 3 mana during your quick cast, and then all of a sudden 2 of your creatures get melee +2.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you can use its final dissipate to add another +2
so you can
onto another creature.
Actions. I like that idea.
Yeah,
that's actually a really interesting way to burst stuff down.
Yeah, I mean,
another interesting note is
nobody would know this, but they're about to be hit by 12 dice from 2 creatures.
Right. And that's
pretty
huge
badass.
in the cat.
Yeah,
for 3 mana.
It's also, of course, good with Symbiotic Orb. The ability just to have a block for what you spent 3 mana on to get multiple blocks.
Fuel the orb, fuel the defenses as well. I mean, this guy does a lot of synergistic things with the rest of the Forcemaster set.
Yeah, and when he dies, if you have that Jewel Scarab on.
Yep. You can get one of your mana back.
So it's like, if we do 2 mana after the Jewel, that's pretty dang good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, let's get rid of the weenies. What do we got next?
This guy, Psionic Scarab.
Dude, this is going to make the zombie lovers
cringe.
Yeah,
probably cringe.
Which, I mean...
This guy's pretty nice. I mean...
Zombies are pretty good in Arena.
This is probably my favorite redistributed power target.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're going to lose the redistributed power at some point, but you still get 4 attacks out.
It's a cheap one. You can run a lot of them. But you get 4 attacks at critical damage, 5 dice. I mean...
Psionic Scarab is
really, really good against zombies. Assuming... Actually, I'm trying to think. You probably want to run it with a living buddy in the arena just to have someone to draw the zombies away from the Psionic Scarab.
Yeah, I mean...
To make sure it gets those attacks.
Like a bridge troll or something.
Yeah, right.
It has relatively low life, but, I mean, the Aegis 2... you would feasibly, I could see, want to attack this guy.
What? Especially the Necromancer's case, considering how strong this guy is.
You can't get bloodthirsty off it. So theoretically, the zombies would be like, well, we want to attack him because he's critical, but we have to attack this mage.
Right. That's what I mean. So if you put in a bloodthirsty target here, come meet this guy. Now, if he doesn't have that, the psionic scarab's going to get hit. And that's one of the few force construct creatures I think is worth an attack spell.
Yeah, I mean, it's not living, so the tainted zombies, but like, I don't know. It's a cool card. I could definitely see this in arena. Yeah.
I could definitely see this in arena.
Yeah.
So how many people do you think are going to use Enchantment Transfusion to keep a redistributed power and a bear strength on their psionic scarabs?
I can think of one.
You can't put bear
Lars?
I was thinking about you.
You can't put bear strength.
I'm terrible with Enchantment Transfusion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Transfusion may end up trying to be used, or Shift Enchantment just to save the power.
I could see Shift.
Because it's novice,
yeah,
so that's a good combination with that.
I mean, the good thing about the Scarab is it combos with the dissipate helmet, which you have some decisions there with this Forcemaster.
If you don't have a token, you can't remove one to get an effect.
Exactly.
Right.
But I mean, now
gives you time to.
We'll talk about the helmet later, but obviously, if you're going mainly these creatures, you're probably going to want that helmet over the Psyorb.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a very different build than one Psyorb.
So yeah, I mean, it's 3 dice, but to make it critical, it's insane.
This is my personal favorite of the Force constructs.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So
I think I like the last one best, but that's okay.
Also a good one. Juicy.
Ready for Juicet the Risen King?
So we've spoken about him once already. We'll talk a little bit more about him again. He's a 5 dice creature in Academy, which is really nice in Academy.
Yeah, he's level 3. That can be concerning in Academy.
For the spellbook points, he fits well in a Warlock, fits well in a Forcemaster because he's at cost. I don't know that I'd run him outside of those.
But when you do cast him, you get a guard on him. So it's like almost getting
it's kind of like a 10 hit point buffer.
Well, the fact that he cannot get stagger cheesed.
That's nice too.
It's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, 5 dice. Well, let's talk about Academy first, because I think that's the easiest thing to talk about.
I think he's best in Academy anyway.
I agree. I mean, he's. I love the theme, by the way. The mummy, being like, "Who disturbs my tomb?" and then just starts messing stuff up.
Yep.
But I mean, for 5 dice, the downside is you get a guard. You know,
the downside is that you can't do what you want with him if he has a guard.
But you could totally use this.
Wanted to guard.
You could totally use this to your advantage to be like, oh yeah, you're running Mageddon. No, not Mageddon.
Mageddon's a bad example, but
we have the terrible example actually. Oh, you're running. You're running White Cloak Knights
or Aaron.
Aaron.
Nice Aaron. Here, hit the mummy.
It's just like suddenly okay. Yeah. I have something better now. I can work with this. And
exactly.
The great shield is nice.
In Academy.
So like I could actually see this. Maybe you put in your Forcemaster, but you only cast it against certain type of mages that you see cast certain things around 1 or 2.
Let's see, when this comes out, you'll probably run it against any non-Warlock mage, which leaves Beastmaster Wizard and...
Yeah.
As non-living, he can't be weaked either.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
true.
point.
So it'd be a really good choice against the Beastmaster, or a weak wizard, one that...
The stagger,
that uses the cockatrice or whatever it is.
That thing's got...
And those 5 dice can take out a lot of those creatures pretty quickly.
Yep, except for the Gremlin. Stupid Jade Gremlin.
But, I mean, the redistributed power on him goes up to 7. That's really nice.
Yeah, easy way to buff him. Well, good way to buff him. I don't know about easy.
Yeah, it's a good way.
Easy enough.
It's easy in the Forcemaster. It would be easy in a Warlock.
Which 7 dice in Academy is insane. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very nice. And that brings us to the last one.
The last creature of the set?
Going back to Juicy, I'm sorry. I know we just said, but would you run that in Warlock? Over Mageddon or with Mageddon?
With Mageddon. I wouldn't run him over.
Mageddon is so good.
As a buddy to Mageddon, though, because now you have a big, beefy 10 hit point, 2 armor buffer shield. You have to throw attack spells at Mageddon. Go ahead.
Let's talk about him with Arena really quick. So there's obviously a lot of ways you can get rid of that guard without your opponent. You can knock him down. You can stun him. There's a bunch of different things you can do. You can
knockdown would be the best because it's in school.
Final quick cast kind of knockdown.
Yeah. Since it's not a condition, you can't cure it or wand of healing it. But
you could even do it. Well, it's the fact that he doesn't reset though. That's the issue. You'd have to do it during final quick cast on the turn.
You literally can't take.
You don't have to do it on the turn to summon him necessarily.
No.
To get him the quickest.
So would you run him in Arena?
I haven't really thought about running him in arena.
Yeah, because
I wouldn't say I won't, just because there's always the off chance, but generally my gut says no.
My gut says no as well.
For the sole reason that Zombie Brood exists. I mean, if you're going to spend 3 spellbook points, or 6, or 9, and 11 mana, you might as well get a Zombie Brood out of it.
I can see Zombie Brood just being better.
Because Zombie Brood...
Skeletal Knight over him, but same idea. Yeah.
Zombie Brood is supposed to take, 14 mana to cast.
Yeah, it's a good card. But...
Yeah, I wouldn't run him in arena outside because the options in arena I think are better. There are better options in arena.
Because you can't make him an Eternal Servant, can you?
No, he's legendary.
Yeah. So he's just kind of a...
He's an interesting sideshow. I don't know how well... Until I see a build with him being used...
You can cast him out of graveyard.
Right. Until I see a build with him being used, I don't think I'd use him at a time. Unless I could find something, but...
He might just be one of those Academy cards.
Might be. But he's still solid in Academy.
That's not bad. Academy's a great game. But,
So, cycling back to...
Sorry. I know we want to move on, but I was I really want to talk about him.
No, that's okay.
No, that's fine.
Tomb Guardian.
This is actually my favorite Force Construct creature. Just because the immediacy of the availability of the guard is so good.
A quick cast guard means that if it's their initiative and you think you might die, suddenly you have...
Now, if you could give him intercept, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe someday it'll be enchantment. So, I mean, Tomb Guardian in Academy, what I could see this as being a late creature. There's guys attacking you. You're like, oh god, I need to shore up my defense because I just lost all these dudes because the dissipate ran out.
Right.
You cast Tomb Guardian, you get a guard, you have Symbiotic Orb on top of that, and suddenly you have 2 defenses, and maybe you can then pull out the victory because you set yourself up to win.
So with Forcemaster and Academy, what I've seen a lot of is you have the initial push wave, and then you would call that, what I would call this guy is the initial part of round 2, or the wave 2, so that you have your defense after all your other guys dissipate and run out.
Yeah.
You still have this guy to let you build back up again.
What do you think of the idea of attacking and just immediately guarding?
With this guy?
Yeah.
I mean, you're using up a second dissipate to get a second action, so I mean,
it depends on when you need him. If you need him to stick around longer, I would say don't do it. But if you have cast him and you are now re-prepared and have regrouped,
you can kind of
then you can probably just use him, get use out of him.
This guy can guard twice in a round. He could take his action to guard, and then he could take his action, or then after another action,
that's actually
you could
really
use
nice.
him to guard.
Right, so if you do need something that needs to come online, you can use him to...
Now, the issue with that in Academy in particular is that your channeling is not that high. So casting one of these guys every other turn gets expensive.
8 is essentially a little bit more than your channel, so that's what you're doing. So, I mean, if you have Shifter Tar out, then suddenly you can attack something and then maybe get him out for defense.
Yep. Yeah, it's always worth a look.
But with all the the orb and some of the other ways that the Academy Forcemaster has for diverting some attacks, I mean, this guy could protect you by himself for a little while.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean by that.
And with Dissipate 5, that's nice. Yep. So what about Arena?
He's useful in Arena. I think he's not as good in Arena though. I think he's better actually in Academy.
I can think of a particular situation in which this guy is good in Arena, and that is if you've lost the creature advantage, for instance, a paladin drops the Crusade banner, and all of a sudden you got 2 Red Cloak Knights, or 2 White Cloak Knights, or 2 Knights of the Red Helm to look down. Then all of a sudden you need something that's going to protect you while you kill one of them. Or if you're in the face of some spawn point that you haven't killed,
I can see that.
So they hard cast a creature, and then they spawn a creature, and all of a sudden you've got to deal with that.
So you can kind of a shield.
You can soak up those hits, or if somebody's just gotten rid of your force field counters, you could drop him to let your force field rebuild for a couple turns. Maybe
that'll help. Yep.
I mean,
I don't think
you can combo force field with Symbiotic Orb with this guy to try and just have I'm impenetrable offense so that I can then use it for something else.
Yeah, there's lots of interesting combinations with him. I think he's good in Arena.
I think this is one of those things that we got to see what people do with it.
Yeah, I think we'll see him in an Arena
I can definitely see
maybe even a tournament at some point, but at least we'll see him in arena games.
Yeah, I definitely, if people are going to try and use the orb, or they're going to try and use redistributed power or something like that in their book, then we're going to see the Cobra, the Tomb Guardian, and probably the Scarab.
Even the Gremlin.
Even the Gremlin, yeah. And Gremlin really shines in Academy, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Great in Academy. All right.
And
I think that wraps up our creature discussion. Tune in for more videos on the rest of this set.
The end. I think the pizza guy just called.
Oh.